Bam awakens in an enigmatic location, feeling disoriented and overwhelmed. Suddenly, he is startled by Hedon, the overseer of the tower, who sneaks up on him. Hedon warmly welcomes him and inquires if he is willing to undergo the necessary trial to ascend the tower. As Hedon explains, scaling the tower offers a variety of rewards, be it wealth, influence, prestige, or even the chance to become a deity. However, Bam's sole desire is to reunite with Rachel, who abandoned him to pursue the tower's ascent. Presented before him is a sizable enclosure concealed by a wall, containing a colossal eel. In order to pass the trial, he must combat the eel and pop a ball inside the enclosure. Fueled by determination to see Rachel, Bam swiftly dashes past Hedon. But before he can enter the enclosure, Yuri, one of Jihad's princesses, unexpectedly tumbles and lands her foot squarely on his face. Yuri, accompanied by her supporter Evan, proclaims him an irregular, an outsider who managed to breach the tower's gates alone. She views the trial as unjust, since the eel is an adversary from the 20th floor. Out of compassion, she lends him a formidable sword known as the Black March. As Bam steps into the enclosure, the eel charges at him. Undeterred, Bam stands his ground, confronting the eel head-on. To the astonishment of the spectators, the eel swallows Bam whole in one swift gulp. Hedon declares that this is the path Bam has chosen, and that he must conquer his fear of death. Suddenly, the eel expels Bam with a shower of green blood, confirming his success in the trial. With the eel squirming in the background, Bam approaches the ball. Taking a deep breath, he thrusts his hand forward, attempting to pierce the ball, but nothing occurs. Bam persists, trying repeatedly to shatter it, but to no avail. Memories from when he first met Rachel flood his mind. He stood atop a towering heap of rocks, striking the roof with a stone. However, he loses his footing and slides down the pile. Nonetheless, the roof collapses, revealing a ray of yellow light as Rachel emerges. They sit together, and Bam confesses his inability to recall anything. Rachel is there to assist, teaching him literacy, nurturing his capacity for love, and enlightening him about the Tower of God and her aspiration to reach its pinnacle and witness the starry sky. Bam compares the stars to Rachel herself, prompting her to tenderly inquire where he acquired such insight before affectionately patting his head. However, on that very day, Rachel resolves to climb the tower, leaving Bam behind. Bam possessed an unwavering determination to catch up with Rachel. In a desperate attempt to rouse the eel, he resorts to shouting at the ball. It is at this moment that Evan conceives an idea. He proposes that Bam implore the sword for its assistance. Bam's plea for aid is answered by the sudden appearance of a mysterious woman who swiftly defeats the monster. She bestows upon Bam the strength to ascend the tower, and transports him to the next floor. Evan and Yuri watch with concern as Bam departs with the Black March. Left with no alternative, the two embark on a mission to reclaim the sword. Meanwhile, Bam awakens in a field, still accompanied by the Black March. An announcer's voice resounds, explaining that there are 400 regulars present in the room and that their numbers must be reduced to 200 by any means necessary. In a matter of seconds, Bam comprehends the urgency of the situation, seizes the sword, and sets off in search of an escape. The competitors engage in fierce clashes, with Bam narrowly evading death on multiple occasions. Believing himself to be alone, Bam suddenly finds himself encircled by three adversaries. An enormous multi-eyed creature, a blue-haired individual named Kun wielding a briefcase, and an aggressive alligator named Rack, all intent on eliminating him. The blue-haired man, intent on seeking powerful allies, initially turns away, leaving Bam to face the other two alone. However, upon noticing the Black March in Bam's grasp, he decides to offer assistance. Kun swiftly diverts the attention of the other two, granting Bam a golden opportunity to flee. Seeking to remain concealed and hopeful that the others will eliminate each other, they hide. Unfortunately, Rack manages to locate them and launches an attack. Kun promptly responds to the assault of the not-an-alligator, relying on his trusty briefcase. Suddenly, a mysterious cube materializes, announcing that the participant count has been reduced to 200. Time is up, and any further combat will result in disqualification. The announcer reveals the second test, a requirement for the participants to form teams of 3 and maintain physical contact within 5 minutes. With limited time and few options, Bam, Kun, and Rack rise to the challenge and become a team. Only 120 individuals succeed in finding allies during the test. Now, the test administrator, Lover Rachelle, arrives to apprise them of their new challenge. Administrators, or climbers, are individuals who had ascended the tower in the past. He notifies the survivors that they must undergo yet another trial. Due to an excessive number of participants passing the previous tests, the administrator unleashes a potent Shinsu, a fundamental power source of the tower, that generates a tidal wave at the room's center, causing the participants to hastily retreat. He subsequently instructs the group that every team member must successfully traverse the Shinsu to achieve victory. If even one member fails, the entire team fails. Kun carefully evaluates the likelihood of his team's success. He expresses confidence in Rack's ability to overcome the challenge, but harbors doubts about Bam. However, Kun's uncertainty dissipates when he observes Bam standing on Lover side of the room, unaffected by the Shinsu barrier. Gradually, participants conquer the Shinsu barrier one by one, reaching the other side. Both Rack and Kun effortlessly navigate through the barrier, signifying Bam's team's readiness for the next test. The victorious participants are led to another room where the third test awaits. Entering the test, the boys feel apprehensive, anxious about their chances of success. Fortunately, a fellow contestant offers Bam's team a crucial hint about the upcoming test. Every successful team has completed it within 5 minutes or less. Armed with this knowledge, the boys prepare to face the test and are surprised to find Yuhan, the test's administrator, already waiting for them. Yuhan outlines the test's rules for the group. They must open a door within 10 minutes or face death. Bam wonders if this is yet another trial of luck, while Kun and Rack demand further clues from Yuhan. Kun enters detective mode, carefully studying the 12 doors before them and the countdown clock ticking away. However, he is plagued by haunting memories of his past, the betrayal by his half-sister Maria, who became a princess of Jihad and orchestrated the downfall of Kun's family. 5 minutes elapse, intensifying the tension, but Rack reaches his breaking point. He vents his frustrations, shouting about his two most detested things in the world, thinking and needles. Taking matters into his own hands, Rack forcefully kicks open a random door. His team passes the test. All they needed to do was open any door. After the test, Lover announces an extraordinary bonus test. Participation is voluntary, but the winning team will receive permission to climb the tower without undergoing another test. It's an irresistible offer, and all teams agree to participate. The additional challenge was named the Crown Game and encompassed 5 arduous rounds. Teams had to strive to seize a crown and then defend it. The team member in possession of the crown had to wear it on their head and sit on a throne until the game concluded. A team from another testing area opted to join the test. Anik and Hatsu eagerly took the lead in completing the test. Anik single-handedly incapacitated the enemy group with her formidable vine whip, astonishing the onlookers. However, before the next match could commence, Bam glanced up and spotted a hooded figure with blonde hair sneaking around the arena. He immediately recognized the figure as Rachel. Bam's team made the choice to abstain from the second round. As they observed the other teams battling it out, the black March sword in Bam's grasp began to vibrate uncontrollably, challenging his efforts to keep it steady. Anik noticed the sword's reaction and approached him, her eyes demanding an explanation from Bam regarding his possession of the Black March. She ordered him to relinquish it, asserting her rightful claim as the Princess of Jihad and the wielder of the Green April, a weapon part of the same 13-month series as Bam's sword. Bam refused to surrender the sword, resolute in his determination to return it to Princess Yuri. In a daring move, Anik prepared to forcefully take the sword from Bam when Lover intervened, halting the round. Bam and his team were about to confront a formidable challenge from all directions. The other teams raced for the crown, but Kun had already secured it and hidden it within his briefcase. Suddenly, Kun flung the crown into the center of the room, watching as his competitors fought fiercely to claim the prize. Taking advantage of the chaos, Kun positioned Bam on the throne with the crown on his head. Rachel's enigmatic teammate declared that it was time to prepare for the next round, inquiring if it was permissible to eliminate all their competitors. Rachel hesitated, gazing intently at Bam, before finally responding with a yes. Rachel's mysterious team readied for battle, and amidst the clashes, Rachel stood near Bam's throne cloaked in mystery. Bam felt despair as he remained confined to his throne, and Rachel refused to turn around and acknowledge him. Suddenly, Rachel came under attack from another player, but Bam swiftly leaped to her defense. The assailant struck him forcefully on the head, causing both Bam and Rachel to collapse. A powerful beam of light erupted from where Bam and Rachel lay, injuring the opponent and obliterating the crown. Despite his weakened state, Bam remained determined to continue the fight, but the enigmatic woman from the sword materialized and froze time. She affectionately kissed Bam, and he collapsed to the ground once more. With the crown destroyed, a definitive victor could not be determined. We are then introduced to Hansung, who astutely explained to Liro that the purpose of these tests was not to find those worthy of ascending the tower, but rather to identify individuals who could potentially pose a threat to the tower due to their intentions and abilities. Liro contemplated this notion. Bam possessed incredible power. His actions went far beyond simply utilizing Shinsu. He had become one with Shinsu itself. Could this mean that he posed a danger to the tower? Bam had only a brief period of time to rest and recover before the next test. This test would categorize the participants into 5 different roles: fisherman, spear bearer, light bearer, scout, and wave controller. Bam was assigned to the wave controllers, and their instructor was the renowned Yuga. In his first arduous training session, Bam had to establish a contract with an administrator, an intimidating task that would demand a great deal of his power. Following the training sessions, all the contestants gathered in the cafeteria, immersing themselves in a cheerful atmosphere filled with friendly banter and positive energy. However, the mood shifted when Anak entered the scene. She confronted Dorsey, a member of Rachel's team, and revealed her secret. She too was a princess of Jihad. The next test approached, and the participants were divided into 2 teams. Team A, including Kun and Anak, among others, had the privilege of going first. They selected a member to wear a red badge and had to defend it until the end, while the examiner had to take the badge of the opposing team while they attempted to steal his. Kun and Anak managed to pass the test, despite Kun betraying his own team. Now, it was Team B's turn, consisting of Bam, Dorsey, and a few others. After a brief dispute, Dorsey was chosen to wear the badge, but then an unexpected turn of events occurred. Dorsey suddenly turned against her own team, killing 2 fishermen. Ho had her own plan. She had recently received an anonymous letter suggesting a drastic solution to her problem with Bam: kill Rachel. Ho harbored deep resentment towards Bam, who always seemed to have everything handed to him and constantly held the advantage. When Bam and the examiner found Ho, she held Rachel hostage with a knife. A fierce struggle ensued, and in the heat of the moment, Ho accidentally stabbed Rachel in the back. Desperately trying to save her, Bam utilized a powerful Shinsu technique, a skill that even the examiner had taken centuries to master. Rachel bled heavily in Bam's arms, and Ho raised her knife, plunging it into her own chest. Just then, Dorsey arrived on the scene, and with Bam's assistance, she outwitted Quant and stole his badge, leading Team B to victory. Rachel had sustained stab wounds to her back, rendering her unable to walk, yet Bam had made a promise to carry her to the top of the tower. The following day, the test results were announced. Everyone had succeeded, but unfortunately, Rachel was deemed unable to continue with the subsequent tests due to her injuries and consequently did not pass. Kun was outraged by this and insisted on taking the administrator's test. However, Hansum quickly clarified that only an irregular, someone who entered the tower on their own, could undertake the administrator's test. Surprising his companions, Bam stepped forward and revealed himself as an irregular. To the astonishment of everyone, he was granted permission to take the test alongside Rachel. The other participants were then presented with a daring opportunity to aid the 2 and, if successful, ascend the tower via the shortest route. As the test commenced, Bam and Rachel found themselves submerged deep beneath the ocean in a mysterious Shinsu bubble, surrounded by glistening waters. Their mission? To patiently wait until dolphins ensnared them in a magical net, which would then consume and expel them, guided by the net dolphin queen. Meanwhile, on land, the other participants valiantly battled various creatures to ensure the smooth progression of the test and safeguard the dolphins. Suddenly, a colossal creature known as the bull emerged, intent on obliterating the Shinsu bubble and attacking Bam. Employing powerful Shinsu balls, Bam fought back, but the bull proved too formidable. The bull consumed him, but an unforeseen event unfolded. Writhing in agony, the bull exploded from within. Bam fell into Rachel's embrace, and together they were lifted upward by the net dolphin queen. Their objective was finally within grasp. Rachel was on the cusp of beholding the stars at the tower's pinnacle, with Bam faithfully by her side. However, when Bam reached out to her, she rose and pushed him into the abyss of ceaseless descent. Rachel desired more than merely gazing at the stars. She aspired to become one. Head-on discerned this when she entered the tower, assigning Rachel an impossible task: to kill Bam if she wished to ascend. Ever since, Rachel had been counting down the days until the perfect opportunity presented itself. Bam possessed effortlessly what Rachel craved the most: friendships, admiration, power, and immense strength. Rachel's anger and envy swelled incessantly. Finally, the opportune moment arrived during the final test to eliminate Bam. Yet, Rachel's plan did not merely succeed, it yielded a remarkable outcome. The remaining participants, grieving Bam's seemingly tragic accidental demise, made a collective pledge to fulfill Bam's greatest desire, to escort Rachel to the tower's summit. However, Bam awoke at the lake's bottom, and as his eyes opened, he beheld a mysterious woman who offered to train him so he could ascend the tower and uncover his own truths. Thanks for watching and subscribe as it helps us create more videos for you.